My name's Carl Ewan. I'm the inventor of the Ewan Tarp Lift, which you see behind me. I've been in the trucking industry for 26 years, 20 of those as an owner-operator. I've tarped everything from onions to lumber. Usually the old-fashioned way, where you had to climb on top of the load and roll your tarps out while standing on top, which always poses a danger for falling, minor injuries or even severe injuries, which can have a large impact on an owner-operator's income. Industry has addressed this problem in many places with fall protection, which is a cable suspended over a load at a tarp station, at which you hook into in a harness. And you don't, when you fall with these, you don't ever hit the ground, but you may hang alongside of your load until someone decides to come and check on you. This machine allows you to tarp your loaded trailer without ever leaving the ground. It can be built to accommodate 1, 2, 3, or 4, as many trucks as you need to tarp at a time. It can also be fitted to inside of a building if necessary. What I'll do first is roll the tarp out. Yeah, roll the tarp out right under the lifting carriage. Once you've got the tarp laid out on the ground, you lower the lifting cables. Lower them significantly enough to run them through your D-rings. Attach 2 short lengths of rope to the front of the tarp. That enables you to be able to move the tarp forward in the event you want to without having to get on top. And on the end D-rings, you just string the rope through, doubled over, and then lay the rope on the tarp. Now ready to lift the tarp. As the tarp goes up, it's folding the sides up so that when it's fully lifted, it'll only be foot and a half thick. Makes it stable in the wind. Once you've lifted the tarp sufficiently enough to go over the load that you're carrying, you trolley the lifting carriage over the load. Now when it gets to where you can see the sides on each side, you need to check. Then you can lower the tarp. The sides will unfold. Once they're all the way to the bottom, and when the lift pins are down sufficiently to let go, this is when you want to adjust your tarp. If it needs to be pulled forward, you can do it with this. It'll adjust your tarp to where you need it to be. Once you're done adjusting, you can just pull the rope out and go to the other side and do the same thing. You change your lifting pins back to the straight position. So they should lift out of the D-rings. So you raise the lifting cables. Even though the cables may be different lengths and uneven at the bottom, when they reach the top, because of the relief valve, one may hit the top before the rest of them, but the remaining ones will run up until they stop. This is the power supply box, the bus fuse box. In case of emergency and you need to shut it off for whatever reason, you flip the power switch off. And it has 3 fuses inside. In case the machine doesn't work, you might want to check these fuses first. And when the cables are all the way up once again, you can trolley it back over to start on your front tarp. And now that we got the rear tarp on and secured, then we'll move the truck backwards and put the front tarp on. Frontal load needs to be even with those front lifting cables. Okay, now we've positioned the truck so that we can put the front tarp on. And do the same thing with the front tarp as you did the rear tarp. Go underneath the lifting carriage, roll it out. Throw all the way up. You can trolley your tarp over your truck and stop it in about the same place you did before. And check to make sure that it's going to come down on the other side. It helps to make sure your trailer is as straight as possible underneath the machine. Although it's not absolutely necessary, but it helps because the tarp will come down better. Then you turn your pins again and lift the cables out of the D-rings. Okay, be sure that you wind the cables all the way up for the next person that uses it so that it doesn't get hung up on your truck trailer as you pull out or as they back in. You could run the lifting carriage over to where you started and you just tie your front tarp down as you did your back tarp and you're done. And I guess that concludes our demonstration.